Hello, everybody. This is Chelsea, aka African American Prime Time Television. This is my Have and Have Nots review for Season 4, Episode 7, Quincy Jr. Okay, this episode starts where Benny brings Quincy Jr. home to his mom, Queen Hannah, and she is delighted to see him and very surprised to see him and very happy to see him. And in this episode, it centers more of of Quincy Jr. and the trials and tribulations that this young boy have to go through throughout this episode is heart wrenching and heartbreaking at the same time. Okay, Benny brings the baby home and sits him on the kitchen counter. Hannah, comes to him and try to give him some comfort and talk to him and is happy to see him, and then she tries to hug him. Okay, when she tried to hug him, he says ouch, and everybody's trying to figure out what this ouch is about. And come to find out, he is beaten to no end, and Benny sister stands in front of him, and then Queen Hannah goes in the back and raises his shirt up. Oh Lord, when I seen this, I was snapping I was big time snapping. I snapped out on Twitter, I snapped out on Facebook, and it was hard for me to even sleep tonight. This young boy had welts, lacerations, name it, he had it. And I think that his daddy and his aunt Cleta has been abusing him physically for I don't know how long, and it really broke my heart. And I hate to see kids that are beaten like that, or beaten period. I do believe in discipline, but there's a certain way to discipline, and that's not the way. That little boy suffered a lot at the hands of his father and his aunts, and I'm glad his uncle got him out of there and brought him to safety. And I am just so thankful that Benny hurried up and got him out of there and brought him home. So after they see the bruises, Hannah leans in and says, "Baby, we're gonna go for a ride," and she wants to know where. And Hannah tells him, "I'm gonna have to take you to the doctor." And then she looks up at Benny and says, "It's very bad. It's infected and everything." And then she says, "Hold on, baby. I'm gonna go get my purse." She goes in her room and closes the door and hit her knees. And thank God that they got him out of there. But she was crying, and I mean, I've never seen Hannah cry like that. She cried quite a bit like that when Benny had gotten, his accident or whatever. But this kind of touched a special nerve with her, being that this is an innocent child who had to go through that. And then Benny, while she's in her room, Benny's out there in the kitchen talking to the little Quincy, and he fixing a bowl of cereal, and he tells him to eat that up, and then he went in the room with Hannah, and those two sat down and talked and cried and was thankful that they got the baby out of there. And after that, they left Hannah's room and took little Quincy to the hospital. Okay, now we're going to go to this Oscar and Candace in New York. Oscar and Candace were sitting down talking and having this little heart-to-heart conversation about Candace's insecurities and why every time she, feels pain, she wants to run from it. And he's been very sweet and gentle and kind with her, and she tried to get up and move, and he won't let her move. In fact, he pulled her over to him and, cuddled her up and just held her, and whatever. And then the next thing you know, here comes somebody with a bowl of rice, and because she had dropped her phone in the tub, and she says she's heard that if you take a bowl of dry rice or uncooked rice, it soaks up the moisture from your cell phone. I guess it's supposed to work. Well, back in Savannah, they've been trying to call Candace because of what happened to Quincy Jr. And The phone just rang. I guess Candace couldn't get through. They couldn't get through to Candace or whatever, and they're trying their best. Oh, back at the hospital in Savannah, so this social worker chick, she really made me mad. She comes in there, number one, thinking that Hannah and Benny had did this to the baby, and knowing good, I know they didn't do it, and she's like being, very, very hard on them. And when, at first would not let them go see the baby because, and then they were talking about pressing child abuse charges and this, that, there, and the other. And this girl, I don't know what to say about her. I know she has a job to do, but you could tell by Benny's demeanor, you can also tell by Hannah's demeanor that they did not do this to this baby. And she didn't have to be such a hard, what, on them. And, but yeah, she's there with 3 police officers, and this female doctor came out and told Hannah and Benny what was going on and what happened. And these officers are like just posted up, like they really ready to do something to Benny and Hannah. And I did not like that social worker at all. I'm sorry, she was a hot mess. Moving right along, Jim and Catherine. They go visit Wyatt at this prison. Now, I feel so sorry for Wyatt. Wyatt is going through a lot of stuff, and he's in prison with these hardened criminals, and I feel so sorry for him. And, well, his parents get there, and then he's begging to come home, and his mom and dad won't let him come home. And then shortly after they leave, he gets in there and he gets back into his cell, and he has a new cellmate. And this guy is way worse than the first one. I guess Rico was what you call the gentle one, but this guy here is a hardcore one, and he has made Wyatt get down on his knees, and I don't like that at all. Now, this is my thing. I kind of like Catherine Pryor, but my thing is, Catherine, she lets Jim have too much power. You see your son begging to come home. He said he's sorry millions and billions of times, but you gonna sit there and let your husband dictate that he can't come home? No. My baby would have been in that back seat, headed home with us. And she lets Jim have too much power, and that's one reason why I like Veronica more than I like her. Because Veronica is more of a take charge, she's more control, a take control type of person. Had that been her child in prison and begging to come home and apologizing and pleading or whatever, regardless of what David said, that baby would have been in that back seat on the way home with them. And I like that in her. And I like the fact that she doesn't, let David overpower her or overrule her. And she's going to do what she feels is right and what she has to do for her sake and whatever she needs to do. And I love that in her. But Catherine, she lost points with me on that. You sit there, you see your baby crying and wants to come home, and you won't let him come home because your husband told you he can't come home. What kind of mess is that? Catherine, grow a backbone and stand up for your child. That's the only child you got left. Stand up for your child against that man. That man's a mess. Anyway, now, we're going to go back to the hospital. Oh, my God. I feel sorry for Benny and Hannah and little Quincy. They're going through this turmoil. And they were sitting there waiting and talking to the social worker and everything. And then next thing you know, here comes Quincy limping up in the hospital. Boy, if looks can kill, Benny wanted to get up and kill him that time. He wanted to kill that dude because of what Quincy has done to the baby and what Quincy has done to his mom. So Big Quincy I'm talking about. He wanted to kill Big Quincy, and Hannah stopped him. So that was the end of that. So, but eventually Hannah and Benny are allowed back there in the room with little Quincy, and I love that tender moment between all of 3 of them. And little Quincy was like, "Grandma, I'm hurting." can you please hold my hand? And she was like, sure, that's what grandmas do. Grandma will always be here for you. Grandma loves you. Grandma will hold your hand. And then, this, after all this, and then the next day, they were finally able to reach Candace. Candace all up in New York with Oscar. Well, her child is up here suffering, and I think Candace is a horrible mom. She's selfish. She just, all she cares about is Candace. She doesn't care about anybody else but herself. And I'm hoping that Hannah gets custody today of that baby, because Candace just, she's not mother material at all. She has no wherewithal of anything but nobody but Candace. And but they finally was able to get a hold of Candace. Then Candace talked to the social worker, and then she talked to little Quincy. And I noticed one thing. You know that she lied to everybody and said that little Quincy was dead. She knew all along that little Quincy was alive. She just didn't want her mother to have him. And because of her hatred for her mother, she let that override and overrule what was safe for her son. And that's the lowest form of a mother that you can possibly see or have. She Hannah could have been and had that boy and raised him in a loving, warm home, protected from people who would abuse him. And but no, Candace had to lie and say he was, dead. She knew that baby wasn't dead, but she, the devil in her, you know, make her do stupid stuff like that. I would have got my baby out there and said, yeah, my mama can have him, because I know my mom would take good care of him. But not Candace. But anyway, they got a hold of Candace, and Candace was talking to little Quincy, and she talked to the social worker, and the social worker asked her how soon can she get here. And Candace told her she was on her way to the airport now. And I guess from New York to Savannah, Georgia, it might be a 2 to 4 hour drive, or 2 to 4 hour flight. And hopefully she can get there and do something for somebody else for once. And that's her child. So that was, this episode really didn't have too much. It had a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Oh, wait a minute. I do have one more thing to talk about. This Professor Cannon dude. Now, I usually am not a fan of Jim Cryer, and that's a known fact. But I like the fact that Jim took care of this Professor Cannon dude. Professor Cannon tried his best to wiggle out of this. He took their time about, I didn't go to her house, and she took the makeup exam here, and I thought she was a prostitute like Candace, and Candace is lying, and Candace did this, and Candace did that. But I'm glad that Jim and Catherine are on top of this Professor Cannon guy. Because I don't like guys who take advantage of women, or, Amanda, she was mentally ill, and this guy basically took major advantage of her, and I'm glad that her father and her mother are on top of this to get this guy. They're doing a horrible job with Wyatt, but I could say that they're trying to do their best about this Amanda situation. Well, this is going to be a short review. I have to get back with you guys next week. This is my Having and Have Not review for Season 4, Episode 7, titled Quincy Jr. I'll talk to you guys later. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. You all take care, and God bless you. Bye-bye. Mwah.